Cardinals. Everybody knows that well, not everybody, a lot of us know that they're based here out of St. Louis, Missouri. But a lot of us don't know the history that they've come from and to where they are now. I want to talk, first I'm best qualified to explain this topic to you because I've done the research. I've been a very big fan of theirs for several years. And this was actually a very interesting topic for me to pick up because there's some facts that I didn't know and I thought I was a real loyal fan. So the points that I want to talk to you about are how many times they've changed their names. They've not always been named the St. Louis Cardinals. The many different ballparks that they've been called home, and the many owners that they've had, and how many postseason appearances they've had. Do I need to explain the photos on my thing, or is it?
Like cite them?
Yeah, cite them.
If they're a part of your six.
Okay. All right. They are part of six. Sorry. I got this. I got this image off of sportslogos.net. I visited it actually yesterday evening on my final touches, and it was posted in October of 2014. This is the logo of the St. Louis Cardinals. Did you know that in the first 8 years, the St. Louis Cardinals had changed their names 3 times? Major League Baseball Media, LP, reveals that the St. Louis Cardinals were first called the Browns in 1892. In 1892, you had 2 actual different teams. You had the St. Louis Browns, and then you had the St. Louis Browns in the National League. You had 2 different leagues. One was the American, one was the National. In 1899, they changed names to the Perfectos, but they drew the nickname of the Cardinals because of the pinstriping on their uniforms was a cardinal red. The fans seemed to really like that name, but it didn't catch on until the 1900s when they finally became the Cardinals. In the same time, you had them in the National League, and you still had the St. Louis Browns in the American League. Fun fact that's not in here is that they did eventually play each other for the World Series in 1946, and it was an all St. Louis World Series event, and where the Cardinals won. Now, the Browns, I know this is off point, but the Browns actually transitioned and are what today you know them as the Baltimore Orioles. When the St. Louis became officially 100% National League, they knew that they wouldn't get the backing, so they had to transition to a new city. So that was kind of off subject. Now that we've talked about the different names they've had, let's transition over to the different ballparks. Here I have 3 images of the 3 different stadiums. Man, I guess I should have looked at that for the editing here, but they've been in Union Park in the very beginning. It actually burnt down, which required them to go and build a new park, which was League Park. Then they went to the Robinson Field, which all that was just a renaming, and with some modifications, they renamed the park with the new ownership. Then they went to Sportsman Park, and then they built in 1953 when Anheuser-Busch took over. They built Busch Stadium #1, and then they went from this one to Busch Stadium #2. And then the last one and current one that they're in right now is Busch Stadium 3. So for the past 3 stadiums, they've always been Busch. They've just been transitioned over. But I got these from Sports Art and was visited yesterday evening. And those were posted on October of 2012. So now that I've talked to you about the ballparks, I want to talk to you about the different owners. They've had many different owners. Chris Von der Hay was the first guy to own the team, and he decided to sell the team out after a bad year and the stadium burning down. He sold to the Robinson brothers. Well, the Robinson brothers held on to them from 1899 to 1915, but in the transition for the last couple years, they actually transitioned to the granddaughter. The granddaughter took over, and because of health problems, she had to sell the team. And to a local car salesman and other stockholders, which would be James Jones there. And then Sam Beeden bought them out a few years later, and then they had the Hannigan brothers and Fred Son, and then Anheuser-Busch bought them in 1953, which was the best span as far as ownership went for the Cardinals. They drew over 3.5 million fans in 1 year, which was a record for them, and it was just really big. That's what really got the roots for the Cardinals in. But after Mr. Anheuser-Busch passed away, they sold the team to the trio here, Mr. DeWitt and 2 others. And this is actually Mr. DeWitt Jr. right here. He is still the owner of the team currently as we go. And I got that picture from Major League Baseball LP. And I visited it yesterday, October 26th. And it was actually posted this past month also. Now that I've talked to you about the owners, I want to talk to you about postseason appearances. The Cardinals, since they've been in the league, they've won 11 out of 19 times. They're the second most winningest Major League Baseball team, other than the Yankees. They're there. That's as good as it gets. Here's 11 different rings, the 11 different ones that they've won from all the World Series. And then they've also been National League Division champ 8 years, but technically it should have been at least 11, but up until the 1950s, they didn't start counting a divisional champ. They changed over, and they started finally getting recognition for that. So, as you can see, the St. Louis Cardinals have been very successful in their span. Well, now that I've talked to you now that you know a little bit more about the St. Louis Cardinals, I've talked to you about the names that they've had, the ballparks, the owners, and the postseason appearances. I hope that if you haven't been to the new stadium, or if you haven't went and watched a game, go watch them. I've enjoyed them very much. I've been a few times, and their atmosphere, whether you're a fan of them or not, you're treated like family. Thank you.